So, you don't know what to read. Well, you might not have found the right book yet. These are some books you might want to consider if you're looking for a book to read. UGLIES by Scott Westerfeld. This author will also be at the Teen Book Festival this year. Very exciting. What if you were given the opportunity to change your looks? Would you do it? What if you had no choice? For Tally, it's just a few short months until her 16th birthday. Only a few short months of being an ugly. She knows that on her birthday she will become a pretty and move from Uglyville to the nice apartments in New Pretty Town. There is never-ending fun, where the parties never stop. She has never really imagined that she had a choice, until she meets Shay. Shay tells her about a place where you don't have to become a pretty, where you can remain your own unique self, but it is forbidden to go there. Tally doesn't really believe Shay and refuses to leave with her, but when Tally arrives for her operation, she is told that she will not be operated on until after she betrays her own friend and leads the specials to the smoke. What choice does she have? She certainly doesn't want to remain an ugly forever. Would you?
We will make you pretty. We will smooth away every unsightly blemish. We will give you the body you've always dreamed of. We will make you perfect, stunning, desirable. You will be pretty. You will be ours.
I Am a Genius of Unspeakable Evil and I Want to Be Your Class President by Josh Lieb. Oliver Watson, an overweight 12-year-old from Omaha, Nebraska, who fools his family and classmates into thinking that he is slow-witted or stupid, when in fact he is the world's third richest person. He overthrows foreign dictators, owns corporations, is a successful inventor and investor, and is on the way to attaining his goal of world domination. He is an evil super genius who makes Artemis Fowl look like a saint. His father and arch nemesis is too involved in running a local PBS station to care what Oliver does. What Oliver really wants is his dad's approval and attention. He decides that the way to get this is to win the election for president of the 8th grade class at Gale Sayers Middle School. But Oliver is an evil genius, so it becomes a very different kind of election. Check out I Am a Genius of Unspeakable Evil and I Want to Be Your Class President. Uprising by Margaret Peterson HADDIX. You might also remember that this author has written a lot of books, such as Among the Hidden. This is one of her historical fiction novels, which really is interesting because you really don't know if one of these three women are going to survive in the book. So watch this book trailer next to see more information.
The Triangle Shirtwaist Fire is viewed as the most devastating and impactful industrial incident in United States history. The factory was owned by Max Blank and Isaiah Karras. The factory produced shirtwaists, a type of women's blouse that had long sleeves and a tightened waist. The factory was a sweatshop, where up to 500 workers, mostly young immigrant women, worked up to 57 hours a day, earning today's equivalent of $3.20 an hour. Safety conditions were practically non-existent. There was one working fire escape and two staircases shared across the 8th, 9th, and 10th floors. One staircase stayed locked to prevent stealing, the other opened only inward. The fire started on a Saturday afternoon when a cigarette butt ignited a bin full of scraps on the 8th floor. The 8th floor manager called the 10th floor, where most workers quickly escaped to the roof. The operational elevator on the 8th floor made 4 trips up and down, carrying 12 workers at a time before breaking down to the heat. A crowd amassed in the streets around the building, watching as fire engine escape ladders reached only the 7th floor. For each second the flames grew, chances of escape decreased almost exponentially. Workers began jumping from windows one at a time, splattering on the streets in front of public crowds. Workers left waiting for the broken down elevator hurled themselves down the dark elevator shaft, dying on impact on the hard concrete. The fire was put out in 15 minutes. Blank and Harris were indicted for 146 counts of first and second degree manslaughter. They were found not guilty. Public outrage quickly led to the creation of the Bureau of Fire Investigation and the Fire Department's Fire Prevention Division. As many as 38 new workplace safety laws were passed within the next 4 years, making New York one of the most progressive states in labor reform. Finally, the Fair Labor Standards Act was passed in 1938. No politician wanted a fire this big to happen in their own state. Purposely avoided workplace safety precautions led to a scene to be witnessed by the public so shocking that it pushed labor reform laws that are still in effect today, making the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire the worst industrial disaster in American history.
Created using Powtoon.
Variant by Robson Wells. Benson Fisher thought that a scholarship to Maxfield Academy would be his ticket out of his dead-end life. He was wrong. Now he's trapped in a school that's surrounded by razor wire fence, where video cameras monitor his every move, and where breaking the rules equals death. All Benson wants is to find a way out. But when he stumbles upon the real secret the school has been hiding, he realizes that escape may be impossible. The sequel to this book is Feedback, and if you're a fan of the Hunger Games, this one is, I would say, comparable or might even be better. The Only Game by Mike Lupica. Can a young baseball star maintain his love of the game after the loss of his brother? Jack Callahan is the star of his baseball team, and this is supposed to be his year. Undefeated season. Record shattered. Little League World Series. The works. That is, until he quits. Jack's best friend, Gus, can't understand how Jack could leave the game that means more to them than anything else. But Jack is done. It's a year of change. Jack's brother has passed away, and though his family and friends and the whole town of Walton thinks baseball is just the thing he needs to move on, Jack feels it's anything but. In comes Casey Bennett, a star softball player, and the only person who seems to think Jack shouldn't play if he doesn't want to. As Jack and Casey's friendship deepen, their circle expands to include Teddy, a guy who's been picked on because of his weight. Time spent with these new friends unlocks something within Jack, and with their help and the support of his family and old friends, Jack discovers that maybe, sometimes, it's more than just the love of the game that keeps us moving, and he might just be able to find his way back to the only game. Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. After serving out a year of hard labor in the salt mines of Endeavour, for her crimes, 18-year-old assassin Selena Sarthenian is dragged before the Crown Prince. Prince Dorian offers her her freedom on one condition. She must act as his champion in a competition to find a new royal assassin. Her opponents are men thieves and assassins and warriors from across the empire, each sponsored by a member of the King's Council. If she beats her opponents in a series of eliminations, she'll serve the kingdom for 4 years and then be granted her freedom. Selena finds her training sessions with the captain of the guard, Westfeld, challenging and exhilarating, but she's bored stiff by court life. Things get a little more interesting when the prince starts to show an interest in her, but it's the gruff Captain Westfeld who seems to understand her best. Then one of the other contestants turns up dead, quickly followed by another. Can Selena figure out who the killer is before she becomes the victim? As the young assassin investigates, her search leads her to discover a greater destiny than she could possibly have imagined. Find out more in the book trailer next. Killer Pizza by Greg Taylor. Killer Pizza introduces us to a 14-year-old boy named Toby McGill who gets a summer job working at the new local diner, Killer Pizza. Toby is really excited about working because it will give him a chance to work towards his ultimate goal, to become a world-famous chef when he grows up. Well, it turns out Toby absolutely loves being part of the Killer Pizza team, which includes Annabelle, who, despite being the popular girl at school, actually turns out to be totally nice, and cooler than cool guy named Strobe. In fact, both boys have secret feelings for Annabelle, which makes for some pretty sticky situations behind the pizza counter. Unfortunately, this is one good thing that doesn't last forever. Eventually, Toby finds out that Killer Pizza is nothing more than a front for a monster hunting organization, and he's got some big decisions to make. Killer Pizza is one of those great stories about an ordinary kid like you and me who suddenly finds himself transformed into an action hero. Toby actually confronts some pretty horrific monsters in the book, including a gutta, creatures that are related to gargoyles and have some of the same attributes as vampires and werewolves. So, if you want to read a horror film, check out Killer Pizza by Greg Taylor, and you won't be disappointed. The Program by Suzanne Young. If you're a fan of dystopias and The Hunger Games, which is pretty one of the most popular dystopias, things like Divergent and The Maze Runner, then you might want to watch this next book trailer.
I know better than to cry in front of anyone. One tear could cause panic. One emotion could sound the alarms. One outburst could land me in the program. And once I enter the program, everything I've ever known, everything I've ever done, everyone I've ever loved, are forgotten.